Hello and welcome to this review of Classic Club, trademark Classic Club, barrel matured, as all whiskey must be by law, American blended whiskey, aged and mellowed in oak barrels. So they're telling you some things that aren't required because it would have to be that if it's blended whiskey, but they're trying to promote the sales. I bought this at Total Wine & More, although it is not a Total Wine & More private label. Other stores sell it. I've seen it. Distiller.com does not have this listed, although they have some other Classic Club like rum and vodka listed. Semper Delectamentum. What does that mean? Always delicious, delectable. Shows two martini glasses and paddles and a shield and a crown. It doesn't make sense to me, but it says produced and bottled by IWA Distilling Company, Louisville, Kentucky, and that's a Sazerac brand alias. You can tell it's a Sazerac bottle. Label's a little torn right here. I don't know what happened. Must have got scratched when they pull it out the box. I was trying to find a better looking label. Oh, it's inexpensive, $13.99 for this handle bottle. So 40% alcohol. That's the minimum for whiskey. Age statement. No age statement. Oh. Forgot about Sazerac putting their stuff on the bottleneck. Retraction. Age 36 months, so it's 3-year age. And it's 80% grain neutral spirits. So 80% of this is unaged grain spirits that have not been put in the barrels. 20% is straight whiskey, aged 36 months. Okay, so that's what that means. In the United States, you're allowed to do blended whiskey with up to 80% unaged spirits. In Canada, Ireland, and Scotland, even those base spirits, what the grain spirits would have to be aged at least 3 years in oak. It could be new oak, used, doesn't matter, but they don't allow unaged grain spirits to be used in the blend. But in America they do, and they're allowed to add coloring and flavoring to the whiskey, and it's not even required to disclose. They're not required to disclose that fact. This one seems a little dark. They might be adding coloring, although Sazerac, they're usually pretty good about putting the statement on the bottle. They'll just say whiskey with natural flavors, and they don't have that here. So I'm thinking that they probably don't have the flavoring. And oftentimes it'll say whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color. So it doesn't say that. Maybe that is the natural color. We'll assume it is, just knowing the company. No, you don't have to bother looking it up on their Sazerac.com website. They're not going to list it like they don't with most of their brands. They only put the premier ones out there, and the rest they don't list. Okay. It smells like corn grits. I have 2 bags of white hominy grits, and when you heat them up with the water, the steam gives off an aroma similar to this, although this is fermented then distilled and the grits are just heated. Okay, some alcohol eggs there. A little barrel action. It's probably not 100% corn because the straight bourbon Sazerac tends to add rye more than usual, and a little bit of malt whiskey, barley malt, even some wheat in their wheated bourbons. So we don't know what's in this. Could this just be some of their brands that didn't come out right and they cast it off into a blend? It's very likely. Could be, could be some ancient age that didn't develop correctly, or some Buffalo Trace or Old Charter, or one of those that didn't, or Benchmark, didn't pan out. They're not going to waste it. They're just going to That's why it's $13.99 a bottle. All right, so and you might get 10 of these, and each one tastes a little different. All right, taste time. But the smell is not bad. It's just not much going on except for the corn action. So this whole volume here might be 3% other grains than corn, I'm thinking. Grains other than corn. It's just standard, like the U.S. government says, must have the aroma and flavor. Canada's regulations say the same thing. The aromas and flavors generally associated with whiskey. This has the aroma and flavor generally associated with whiskey. Is it an off-putting flavor? No. Is there anything repellent or objectionable? No. I wouldn't say so. Some of those Heaven Hill blends, they can really be tricky, highly questionable, because I think they just more or less cast it out there and don't care what it's tasting like. And they just marketing it towards certain population groups, like, down and out maybe, and figure they don't care if they can buy the bottle for $5.99. I'm not saying that's what they do. I just get that impression. Okay, I can get a Heaven Hill blended, the Quality House, Heaven Hill Quality House Kentucky blended whiskey. I can get that for $5.99 in a town about 15 miles from here. I can get it here too, but it's not $5.99. It's more like $8.99 here. That's just an example. Now, a lot of people that go into that store, or what I'm describing, you could tell they might. You say they might benefit from not consuming so much. Let's keep it at that. There's a little shade of honey, but there's no vanilla flavor like a lot of these Sazerac with natural flavors taste like. So yeah, they're obviously not adding flavoring because it's none of that. It just tastes like straight up whiskey. Bland whiskey, no doubt, but no tweaked, not tweaked with anything. So I get the impression it is natural color and for sure natural flavor without any add-ons. Would I be recommending this? I would recommend it if you like to do, simple mixes, real basic cocktails. Yeah, it'd be fine. I guess you could sip on it if you're not really looking for much flavor. You just say, I'm just going to be reading the emails, and I got a lot of those to go through, and I'm just going to sip on this to calm me down or whatever. I'm going to watch a game or something. I don't care about the flavor. As long as it doesn't offend me, I don't care. Oh, yeah, it'll work for that. But so the score, one more sip. Smell that ethanol. Cornbread. It's marginally good, honestly. It's like, you could make the argument that it is good, but I would say like 81 out of 100, B minus, 80, 81, but we'll give it a 81 because it doesn't have any off-putting, questionable things like that. Yeah, it's worth $13.99. If I saw it for $17.99, I'd never dream of buying it. I think a few years ago it was $10.99. So this is the result of inflation. Now it's $13.99. But still, whatever. So I bought it. I tried it. Now I have one coming up the next go around, maybe later this year. I say this year at the time of the publishing because this is being recorded at the end of the other year. But that's irrelevant. But it's from Texas, Waxahachie, Texas, and they do a lot of flavored whiskeys and bourbons and vodka, but it's called, no, I can't remember. It's in Waxahachie, Texas, all I can tell you. But it's called 254, Texas 254 blended whiskey. Texas 254. And that's a big handle, has a handle on the back, and it's a glass, not plastic, but heavy glass. That'll be interesting. All right, so ladies et les bon temps relais, I'm going to end this review by saying y'all go to Buffalo Trace, which is probably where this is bottled. It says Louisville, but they told me on the phone That actually, it's just lawyers' offices, like headquarter offices in Louisville. There's really no Sazerac facilities there for bottling or blending. This is what they told me. He said it's either done at Glenmore in Owensboro, Kentucky, Bardstown, Kentucky at Barton, or Buffalo Trace in Frankfort. He said that's where the operations are. And I would assume they know what they're talking about. They work for the company. All right, thank you. So B-, thank you very much.